It was only when I reached the academy that I realized that I've made probably a mistake, because Chennai is a very hot place, right? I landed at the airport and I was like, damn, it's going to be very difficult now. That pride that you carry to the academy, that is supposed to be crushed, because you are not here for a stardom show. You are here for work, and you are here for leading men into combat, and that makes everything in a manner trying to break you down in your journey. So I went to the UPSC website, started typing the exam name and my roll number, and one by one my roll number started flashing, and I just realized that I have cleared one of the positions here. So all the other plans actually took a back burner at that point. So I wanted to set a legacy of sorts, that this guy gets commissioned, and it becomes a sort of an inspiration for my juniors and for whosoever else is coming to the college for NCC to again try to want to do the same thing. So when you're training, you don't even think about what's happening, and the days just keep going by. But with the benefit of hindsight, I can talk about so many things.
Jai Hind viewers, this is Yuvraj Tyagi, and today we have a very special guest with us, a freshly retired young officer from the Indian Army who has served in some of the most strategically important locations along the line of control and at certain high altitude regions, including the world's highest battlefield, Siachen. I'd like to welcome Captain Kaustubh Rana. Welcome to the podcast, sir. And it is really nice having you. How are you feeling, sir?
Thank you, Raj. I'm feeling good. First of all, that I've finally been out of service, and still need to take time to digest the fact that I'm out. So yeah, that's.
So, sir, how long has it been since you've opted out of the service, sir?
It's been around a couple months, 3 months or so.
And, sir, if I'm correct, your first priority was to join civil services. So, how did you end up joining the army and donning the olive greens?
So, to anyone who would be watching this who knows me from my school days, I would be the last person to join the army for them. And I actually was. When I entered my college after my school, and I found out about societies and different extracurricular activities, I just wanted to do something that probably helps me get attendance and stuff like that. And that's when I came across the National Cadet Corps. It is a military organization, students wing, which has voluntary membership for school and college students. So when I was in college, I was told by one of my friends who landed in the same college and was from my same school that, let's try this out. And that's when I went and gave trials for the NCC. Turns out that the friend that helped me, who asked me to come and give the trials, he said he rejected the fact that he had to shave for the NCC to wear the uniform, and he loved his beard, so he ended up not opting. And I was in the reserve list. I could not get to the final list, but because he stepped out, I was called by one of the NCC junior under officers who are basically college students who were taking our recruitment, calling me and saying that Kaustubh Rana, you have 15 minutes. Please, if you can come, if you can reach, then we'll give you a place in NCC. Otherwise, you're not going to be taken. And I don't know what happened to me. I thought that it's a good opportunity, and I took 15 minutes. I rushed to the college, and I ended up becoming a part of NCC. That was my entry into this world of uniform. And up till the 3 years that I was in NCC, I did not even think about joining the army. It was the selection procedure per se, which starts with your service selection board. And at that time, they used to tell us, when we were in our first year NCC, they used to say that you will get direct SSB interview. And I thought that it's Sashastra Seema Bal. I didn't even know that it's service selection board. So from there to the third year, there were different things which were happening in NCC that led me to join the army.
So you were saying that you went through a stark transition kind of a phase during your time in NCC and your training in NCC. Is that true, sir?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, from my first year, I was a completely straight out of school Delhi boy who does not have any idea about how a life in uniform is like. And I, the first thing, the one of the only things that I was taking seriously was this organization. And in those 3 years, I got to attend camps and I got to wear the uniform in college, and it was something different from what was normal. So that made me take this more and more seriously. And after 3 years, I got the opportunity when I did the Republic Day camp in NCC.
So, sir, you are saying that your journey, your roots to a life in service was due to NCC, and that is those experiences in NCC basically shaped your outlook that I want to join the service.
See, Yuvraj, when I entered college, I was looking around and I found people from different walks of life who were having these ideas of what they wanted to do. They were very clear in their heads. And here I had just gotten out of college. I had a few hobbies at my hand. I like to do photography, I like to do motion designing and stuff like that. So that kind of made my graduation decisions as well. And that might as well have made my career decisions as well, like any other student. So at that juncture, when I got this opportunity to get a glimpse of what the uniform is like, and then things took a turn during my training, then it became more of a reason to even then try it out. When I was in the Republic Day camp, I was the flag area briefer for my. There is a presentation corner where you have your directorate's flag, and I was from Delhi directorate, so my directorate flag was there, and I had to brief about Delhi to the dignitaries and to the guests who were visiting. So during these days, 1st January to 31st January 2017, General Bipin Rawat, the chief of the army staff at that time, he had visited our flag area. And after I had briefed him, he asked me, "So son, which college are you from and what are you doing?" And eventually he asked me, "Why don't you join the army?" And that was, I think, I think it was the Army Day, 15 January. And I, as the senior under officer of my NCC, had already, applied for the exam just as a measure so that others can also join it. So that exam was something which started coming in my mind then when the chief himself asked me whether you would like to join. I started considering it then. Before that, it was not one of the things even in the agenda for me.
So destiny has played its part, sir. And coming to your training days, sir, so what was the selection like when you completed your graduation and you had already applied for SSB and you were giving CDS exams? So how did you crack it? How did you get the news? Okay, now I've cracked the exam and now I'll be going to SSB.
That's an interesting story. Actually, I came back from the Republic Day camp on 31st January 2017. On 5th February, I had my exam, CDS exam. And because we had been studying, we have these best cadet tests and current affairs and all those things. So I had a fair idea of how to go for the exam. I bought one book, read it through the nights, 5 days in a row, and gave it like a college exam and forgot about it. A month or two later, I was just browsing the web, and I happened to come across this ad where some person was wearing the uniform. And that made me realize, oh, I had given an exam. So I went to the UPSC website, started typing the exam name and my roll number. And one by one, my roll number started flashing. And I just realized that I have cleared one of the positions here. So all the other plans actually took a back burner at that point. I was thinking of giving competitive exams elsewhere. I was thinking of maybe doing something in my professional course, or maybe doing another course, maybe doing a graduation. And at that time, I get this sort of a different news. Yeah. That's when I decided that, okay, I'm going to put everything else in the back burner. I'm going to give my 100% to this. And that's when I went underground for 6 months of preparation for SSB. Usually people don't prepare like that, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to be one of the sure shot candidates to get this through. and I wanted to test my ability to put my mind to something and get it done. And it was also sort of like a moral responsibility as a senior. I was the president of NCC by the time I came back from the camp, so of my society, that is. So I wanted to set a legacy of sorts, that this guy gets commissioned, and it becomes a sort of an inspiration for my juniors and for whosoever else is coming to the college for NCC to again try to want to do the same thing. And that's all that was going through my mind when I was preparing, and I happened to go to my SSB then 7 months later.
So you appeared in your SSB and you cleared it in the very first attempt. So where did it land you, sir, after your SSB?
My SSB was 18 SSB Allahabad. I went there around 6-7 months after my after clearing the exam in February. So it was in October, I guess, 2017, and I did not book a return ticket. Usually what happens is when people go for the SSB, it's a 5-day interview. You have a screening test on the first day. If you don't make it on the first day, you get screened out and you go back home on the first day itself. The conference is a 5-day story. Once you go through the screening process, you spend 5 days in the SSB itself and go through various kinds of tests that are taken. So usually people don't know whether they're going to be screened in or not, so they have a return ticket planned on the first day. I felt so confident when I had gone for my SSB. I was like, 5 days, I'm not going to take a return ticket because I know I'm going to last till the medicals. So that is luckily what happened as well. And I was one of the, if I'm not wrong, 18 or 19 people, and 3 of us got recommended and 2 of us got through the medicals. So even medicals is a different story in my situation. I was not supposed to be in the army again during the medicals, but I found my ways in through the appeal boards and getting things in order, showing them that I'm fine and there's nothing wrong with me. We managed to clear that level also. Otherwise, clearing medical is very hard.
So clearing the medicals landed you to OTA Chennai, Officers Training Academy, sir. And sir, is there any reason why you particularly chose OTA over IMA? Because as far as I know, people usually try and choose IMA before for their training. So what was the reason for you choosing OTA over IMA, sir?
The Officers Training Academy and Indian Military Academy are 2 of the 3 academies particularly for training army officers. And there are certain differences which need to be cleared out. Indian Military Academy is in Dehradun. It is one of the oldest academies of the country. And they train officers for permanent commission. And Officers Training Academy is for short service commissioned officers from various entries, not just from the CDS exam, from other entries as well, like NCC entry, the JAG entry for lawyers and for women officers as well. So the difference in the training was not a factor which I had when I was giving the exam. The fact was that, see, I applied in November. I was not even serious about this exam. And even when I had 5 days, I was thanking my stars that I have chosen OTA, because there is a smaller syllabus. For Indian Military Academy, I don't know what the thing is. I think it's the same right now as well. You have to give maths, English and general knowledge. And I, being from a non-math background, and having less time, it made more sense to me to do English and general knowledge, which I had already been studying. So that was a very practical consideration, I would say. It was only when I reached the academy that I realized that I've made probably a mistake, because Chennai is a very hot place, right? I landed at the airport and I was like, damn, it's going to be very difficult now to spend 11 months here and train. By the way, Indian Military Academy has a training period of 18 months. It can be lesser if you're from the NDA, but then those people train for 4 years. OTA Chennai squeezes that training period, whether it's 4 years or 1.5 years, into 49 weeks. That's 11 months for you. And the endeavor is to do the same things that an officer goes through from 6 to 8 terms in 2 terms.
So the duration is
shorter and the weather is hotter. So it's very tough to do that. That's the tough portion there. IMA has its own difficulty, like the Masuri Nights, if you know about it.
Right. So, sir, regarding your training, first of all, sir, when you had cleared the exam, when you had got the news, you got the notification, okay, I've cleared my SSB and I've got recommended, my name is there in the merit list. What kind of reaction did you have when the news first broke, and what kind of reaction did your family members and friends have at that time, sir?
So we had a little bit of cushion because I had been recommended, and I had not made it through the medicals. And at that point, when my parents got to know that I have been recommended, they were still trying to accept this reality that he's going to be. I've never been out of my house for too long, and now I had to, because I was going for training and then after. So they were also trying to accept it initially. They were not fully to terms with it. They wanted me to reconsider as well. But I told them, look, I am going for a short service commission. At max 5 years, 10 years, I'll be serving and then I'll be out. So it became a sort of a pact that, I will want to do what I wanted to do, live my passion a little bit, and then you can tell me what you want me to do and I can do that. So, and by the time I got commissioned, they were happier than me. I was like, I'm stuck for 5 years in the army now, and these guys are happy on the lighter side. So the tables turned that way.
And sir, regarding your training in OTA, so you said that the training is very intense, the weather is quite warm, and the training has basically been squeezed into a duration much shorter than what is done in IMA. So I'm sure you must have certain incidents which still makes you giggle when you recall your days in the academy. Can you share any such incident with us, sir?
There are a lot of incidents actually, but actually in academy, the main purpose I feel of an academy is that you are going there after getting top ranks in an exam, and everyone is interviewing you, talking to you about how you managed to crack the interview and all those things. That pride that you carry to the academy, that is supposed to be crushed, because you are not here for a stardom show. You are here for work, and you are here for leading men into combat, and that makes everything in a manner trying to break you down in your journey. So when you're training, you don't even think about what's happening, and it's just the days just keep going by. But with the benefit of hindsight, I can talk about so many things. For example, we used to have movies. We used to fall asleep watching the movies because the hall was all air conditioned. So that was the time to sleep. And
So that at that point of time, those theaters and cinema halls were luxury to
that
you.
was a luxury, yeah. Even standing in the shade was a luxury, because you had a very little shade and everyone would huddle together. Getting a snack in the middle of training is a luxury. There are small luxuries, like cold coffee is a luxury. And you get humbled, I think, by this whole experience.
And so the training, your drill ustads, your drill instructors are infamous for their training styles and for the ways they punish gentlemen cadets in academies. So can you share what is the most out of the ordinary punishment that you and your batchmates got while in training, sir?
See, I'm from an NCC background, so to the envy or to the hate of my course mates, I loved to drill. And when you reach the academy, the NCC people who end up in the academy, they have a privilege in this regard. Even the drill ustads get it that, अच्छा तू NCC का लगता है मेरे को cadet. So they have this separate regard for you, and you tend to clear your drill tests faster and easier. So it was hellish. It was not like an NCC drill and army drill are completely poles apart. It's much harsher there, and especially because of the weather. So we have what is called a zero corner and 0 point. And if someone's uniform is not in order, or if they are not giving their all in the drill, they would be sent to the 0 point and they will be made to do drill even more harshly. So it is almost to the level of a harsh punishment. There is no beating and all, of course, but it's tiring. It you don't want that in the daily routine, which is already so taxing. You're running from one place to the next and doing so many things.
And so, how does the academy balance between theoretical classes and your physical training, practical stuff?
There's no holds barred. Actually, the selection is planned in such a way that you take people who are trainable, right? And when they reach the academy, they are completely in for a ride. You don't have time to think there. So academics is happening for a certain period of time in the day, from say 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And before that, it's all PT and drill, and after that, it's all games and everything. And in between, during the course, 3 months, 6 months in, you're going for your camps, you're going for your weapon training and everything, horse riding, all kinds of activities. So you are always engaged. So before you know it, it's just away from you. The only problems that occur is for people who get injured or who develop a heat stroke or something like that. That is problematic. Because heat strokes are very common in OTA Chennai.
Right, sir. So, sir, coming to the completion of your training, how was the day like when you had your passing out parade and the pipping ceremony, and your parents and your friends must have come to attend the event? How was that day?
My parents and my relatives had come for my passing out parade. It is a 3 to 4 days long extravaganza where parents are invited for dinners, they are shown the academy, and they are also shown some light and sound music and all those things. The best of the military that they are going to get for the rest of their lives. And they were absolutely proud. I was absolutely happy to see them after, I think, 3-4 months, because we were not getting time, and now I was happy that I'm going to spend time with them normally, not out of training. So that was a moment of pride altogether, and I think after that I was seen more like a graduated sort of a person rather than just a kid. So I had actually grown up for them.
And so, after the completion of your training, which arms or service did you join?
I opted for Army Service Corps, and I also chose for a Dogra regiment, which I got, and I got my first posting. Actually, first posting was told to me by a Dogra officer himself, and none other than Lieutenant General Ranveer Singh. So General Ranveer Singh was our reviewing officer for our passing out parade, and we have an interaction with him a couple days prior, and he was the one who actually told me, because he was another army commander at that time, and I was getting commissioned to Siachen, and I did not know it at that time. I just knew that I am going to 6 Dogra and I am an ASC officer. So after ceasefire, the only major problem in the post was to survive the vagaries of the nature for both the sides, not just for us but for Pakistan as well. And even then, there is a situation where someone might come up and might have a hand-to-hand combat situation. That is very much possible. So whenever I tell my story to any friend of mine from the civil world, or even some of my juniors, I ask them this question, that what is the lowest temperature you've been in? And their answer is somewhere around maybe -5 degrees or maybe -10 degrees at max. And when I tell them that the coldest I have seen is -47 degrees, they lose their minds. And then I follow it up with a question that what is the lowest oxygen saturation that you've had?